What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're jumping into the next one on our geography now journey. Switzerland, it's your turn. We will be splitting this up into two different parts. Today we'll go to the halfway mark, and tomorrow we will finish up the second half and probably the flag fan Friday for Switzerland. If you guys enjoy it, make sure you get over show geography now some love. We've learned so much about so many different countries from their efforts that I don't know, it's kind of mind-boggling. I learned more from geography now than I did from my high school teachers. Definitely get over, show them the love for sure. Let's learn a little bit something about Switzerland. I've only been to Switzerland one time, and that was to the airport, but looking out the airport window wanted to make me leave the airport. Let's see what we got. Let's roll.
We have now reached Switzerland. Alps.
And I did read in the description this is their first episode filmed abroad. That's freaking fantastic. I wish you guys could travel to every single country that you make a thing about. For real, I think that would be fantastic. Get over there, show them love so they can make it happen.
Cheese, neutrality, banks. Well, Switzerland didn't start off that way. It was basically a bunch of mountain folk that built an entire economy off of what are essentially European ninjas. And now shit goes down, they have a bunch of bunkers they can hide in case of nuclear war happens. But we'll get into that later. In the meantime, here's the intro song.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. Get your Geography Now merch at geographynow.com.
Go get some merch.
Not selling out if it's your brand. In any case, Switzerland, the crossroads of the Germanic and Latin worlds. Known as the Confederation Helvetica, despite not actually being a confederation. Named after the Helveti tribe, which were actually Celtic.
We should hang out sometime.
That were mostly wiped out and driven away by the Latins and Germanic peoples.
Oh, well, okay.
But anywho, so I actually promised my Swiss friend Herman that he could be in this episode with me, and I wanted to fly him out here to Los Angeles to co-host. Unfortunately, at the time of filming this episode, the US had restrictions on Europeans entering our country, and the actual date of acceptance for Europeans to enter would take way too long. So I decided if I can't fly him out here, why don't I just fly out there and make a makeshift Geography Now studio set and have him in the episode.
Smart.
Here I go.
Yeah. On the way.
Oh, made it! And guys, say hi to Mr. Herman.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Switzerland, yeah. Again, I'm super short, so I gotta step on a box. What does it mean to you, Herman, to be Swiss?
There's of course the whole cheese and chocolate thing. For me, to be honest, we are quite grateful that we live in this nice country, which is just safe, stable, and it has been like this for a long time.
By the way, guys, this is the guy that was in my heritage trip video. This is my Swiss go-to guy. You're an expert on Switzerland, right?
Sure.
All right, and with that, let's move on. Let's find Switzerland on the map, shall we? So Switzerland is kind of a unique place in Europe, mostly because of the way how it was formed.
You see, most countries had a king, but Switzerland didn't. It was just a bunch of annoyed mountain folk who didn't want to align with any king and became independent.
Now, there's a lot of disagreement
Annoyed
on exactly
mountain
how
folk.
Switzerland was formed. Some people say maybe it was the medieval times. Some people say it was the more modern Napoleonic Wars.
So technically the earliest form of Switzerland was after the Rütli-Schwur. Uri, Schwyz and Unterwalden agreed to have an alliance.
It was basically like,
Hey, Schwyz, how's it going?
Hey man, this army just came in and attacked me for no reason.
No way, me too!
Are we talking about the armies coming through without our permission?
Yes! Oh my god,
So
so
annoying.
annoying!
You know what we should do? We should form a
confederation.
confederation.
A
yes.
confederation.
Let's do it.
Like, let's form a confederation.
Together?
then later it was like,
Hey, can we join, please?
Can I join too?
Just like,
I don't speak the language, but we'd like to join.
This gives me an idea. Maybe I should expand.
the point is,
Yeah,
Switzerland started to
expansion.
grow.
And today you have the Switzerland you see before you, locked away safely in the Alps.
Let's go to the map now, shall we?
First of all, Switzerland is a landlocked nation located at the convergence point of Western, Central, and Southern Europe.
My old dog lives in Switzerland. I'm jealous of her. She went from being a Thai stray dog to being a Switzerland running through the Alps dog.
Surrounded by 5 countries. Remember, don't forget little Liechtenstein. The country is a federal republic made up of 26 cantons, each with their own unique flag and coat of arms. However, keep in mind, 6 of these cantons are considered traditional half cantons, which means they are grouped into 3 pairs that share a councillor in their government. In order to maintain a somewhat decentralized government system that keeps cantons happy, technically Switzerland has no official capital, as stated by their constitution, but Bern is considered the de facto capital, capital, as it holds the House of Parliament and other federal authorities. The country's largest city, though, would be Zurich, located in the northeastern part of the country. It also hosts the largest and busiest airport, Zurich International. And from there, the next largest cities are Geneva and Basel, which also carry respectively the second and third busiest airports as well. In fact, about 75% of the population actually lives in the North Swiss plateau, even though it only makes up about 30% of the land's surface. Speaking
That's
of which,
crazy.
the
So
only
there's just all kinds of land around where people live. Did you see the whole outside of it is that's all uninhabited, or said inhabited by like tribe people? Are there still annoyed mountain folk out there that don't really come into the cities? How's it work?
The ambiguous dispute they have is with Germany and Austria over the Bodensee, or Lake Constance. The three countries have never formally established borders, and they kind of just don't say anything. In any case, Switzerland also has some other unique border anomalies. For one, by Schaffhausen, Switzerland tried to grab as much land as they could north of the Rhine River, leaving a unique layout of territory grabs that jut into Germany, and it even leaves one exclave of Germany entirely within Switzerland, Busingen am Hochrhein. Head down south to the Ticino canton, and you have the Campione d'Italia, which is basically one big casino
Okay, so it
resort.
is kind of
an
spread out.
exclave of Italy completely engulfed within Switzerland, only about a half mile or less than 1 kilometer over a hill away from Italy. Finally, if you go up to Basel, you have some very weird skinny land salients that jut into France for no logical reason, like this one by the town of Rieti, which at its narrowest choke point is less than 230 feet or 70 meters wide. Transport in Switzerland is top-notch though. Well-paved highways, tunnels, and train networks connect every region of Switzerland. The biggest and most proud engineering project that the country has ever gone through, though, would probably be the Gotthard Base Tunnel. It is the longest rail tunnel and deepest traffic tunnel in the world, effectively cutting through the Alps, connecting the canton of Uri with Ticino. This tunnel
It also had a very bizarre opening ceremony. I watched it on Facebook and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on.
has heavily bolstered the efficiency of Switzerland's freight and passenger transport, as about 11,000 people and about 70,000 tons of cargo are able to swiftly pass by daily.
Fun fact, because of Herman, me and my mom actually got to go see Liechtenstein. He drove us all the way from Zurich, all the way through Liechtenstein in Austria, and we ended up in Lindau, Germany, where we met the worst waiter ever at a casino restaurant.
I remember this
The
guy was
worst
horrible.
waiter
In Switzerland,
ever.
Public transport is really good. You can get almost anywhere by train. That's the Jungfrau Jochbahn, which brings you above 3,500 meters.
But that's kind of like more of a touristy thing, right?
Yeah, that's a tour. I've never been there.
Speaking of trains, you said something about like they donate the old ones, right?
Yeah, actually trams. The trams of Zurich are going to Ukraine, and the trams from Basel are going to Belgrade.
The interesting thing is that historically, some places that are actually outside of modern-day Switzerland used to be protectorates or associates of Switzerland.
They are Mulhouse, which lies in today's France, Rottweil in Germany, Valtellina and Bormio, which today lie in Italy. Even though the Austrian state of Vorarlberg once voted to become part of Switzerland in World War I, we decided to better not take them in.
You rejected them. Now, another thing about Switzerland you have to
Not
understand
allowed.
is that they kind of have like two imaginary lines based off of the cultural regions. You can explain. What are they, Herman?
Well, there's the Röstigraben, separating the French-speaking part of Switzerland from the German. And then there's the Polentagraben, which is between the German part and the south, which speaks Italian.
Basically, one side drinks beer, the other wine. Due to their history of constantly being invaded or outside forces threatening or just generally bothering them, the Swiss have developed a culture of, let's just kind of call it heavy defensive caution.
We are neutral, but we still are prepared to defend ourselves to make it as expensive as possible for anybody to attack us.
This is why, should the event ever occur, the country is loaded with copious amounts of bunkers everywhere. Like, it's actually a law, all living units have to have a bunker or something like that, right? Yeah.
We have a lot of hidden
What?
bunkers, and if you go hiking, you will just see them, but they're nowhere on the map.
There's no exact number
That would be cool to do like a bunker tour.
on how many are built, but apparently they can protect the entire population plus more, right? I think.
The question is for how long, right?
In any case, Switzerland has so many notable cool sites to see and visit. We actually filmed this part before I could audition anybody to do it, so I'll just fill this in with a dubbed voiceover. Here's
Alex. Hey guys, I'm Alex. I'm from Geneva, Switzerland, although I'm currently in Mexico. Here's a few things you should absolutely check out if you ever make it to Switzerland. Check out the Jet d'Eau Fountain, the Cathedral Saint-Pierre, Palais des Nations, which is home of the United Nations, and the Sun Hydroglidon castles. Check out the Château de Chillon, the Oberhofen, Valais and Tourbillon, Château de Gruyère, Bunhause, which is basically a capital. Check out the Bear Park, Kinderfre.
We were looking at a whole bunch of awesome, really cool buildings, and then it was Bear Park.
Château de Gruyère, Bunhause, which is basically a capital. Check out.
That is a bear staring right at us, right in front of a city. The bear park. Are these bears? Is it like a zoo? Or is it just like a park that has a bunch of bears?
The Bear Park, Kinderfressenbrunnen statue, Lauterbrunnen that has over 70 waterfalls. The Lake Lucerne has a Lion Monument and the Chapel Bridge with 347 ski resorts covering a distance of 4,500 miles.
340
Summaries, MI.
Are y'all born with skis on your feet in Switzerland? Is that what it is? 347 ski resorts? I've been snowboarding once, and it wasn't even in a place that it snows. It was Dubai.
Personal favorites, Verbier. For more Mediterranean feels, check out the Old Town Piazzas and beautiful lakeside views of Lugano down in the south of Switzerland. Switzerland also has a bunch of museums and amusement parks, so for that, check out Aqua Park, Coneyland, Swiss Vapor Park, and the Geiger Museum, which is absolutely amazing.
That looks
and if
fantastic.
you're looking for an adrenaline rush, check out the mountain coasters, also Toboggan, as well as the Stoßbahn funicular, which is the steepest funicular in the world.
Hold on, we've been pronouncing toboggan wrong the whole time. He said toboggan. I would have never thought about it like that. I know what a toboggan is, and this looked like what you do on a toboggan. See, this is just like when we learned that we were pronouncing Gouda cheese wrong.
Coasters, also Toboggan, as well as the Stoßbahn funicular, which is the steepest funicular in the world. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Alex.
You're always going underground for whatever reason,
Yeah, if you have a mountain in between two places, what are you gonna do?
which is actually the perfect transition into the next segment. The...
Now, of course, you cannot talk about Switzerland without talking about the mountains and nature.
Literally, the moment you say Switzerland, obviously images of like snow-capped mountains and valleys. And
Yeah, that
cows with
instantly
cowbells.
comes in the
Even the
high.
iconic Matterhorn probably comes up, although 12 people a year usually die on it. But yeah, it's still very beautiful.
It's a challenge. So let's go to the map and break down Switzerland's land makeup.
Now, despite Switzerland being famous for the Alps and being the most mountainous country in Europe, the actual Alps only make up about 60% of the country. The remainder of the country is made up of two other geographic zones, the Swiss, or Central Plateau, which is the lowest part of the country and where most of the agriculture and livestock raising is concentrated, and the Jura Mountains in the northwest on the border with France. Of course, in the Alps you can find, shocker, the tallest peak, Dufourspitze, just on the border with Italy. No, the famous incredibly difficult to climb Matterhorn just a few miles away is not the tallest peak, it just looks really cool, that's all. Just a step
is a
away,
cool
you find
peak.
the Aletsch Glacier, the largest glacier in the Alps, and it is a UNESCO heritage site. From the ice melt of the Alps, of course, you get the source of all the rivers that feed Switzerland, including the longest river, the Rhine, which shares borders with its neighbors. However, the longest river fully in Switzerland, not shared, would be the Aare, or Aar River. Of course, these rivers also feed into the world-renowned lakes of Switzerland, the largest one being Lake Geneva, or Lac Léman, in which Switzerland was like very set on making sure they hooked around the end with Geneva and got most of it when splitting it with France. Nonetheless, the largest lake fully in Switzerland is Neuchâtel, not to be confused with Neuchâtel in Normandy, France, which is where the soft cheese comes from.
Yeah, and those highlights don't
Don't
even
confuse
cover a
the two.
fraction of all the cool nature stuff in Switzerland.
You can hike, then at the end you arrive at the lake, and it's perfect.
Is it like fresh enough for you to drink from, or no?
You could maybe, but guy might have peed in it 5 minutes ago.
Ah, yeah.
Well, Switzerland sure is beautiful, but when it comes to natural resources, we're actually not so rich. We don't really have any. Much of our economy is actually based on industry and services.
To explain a little bit more about the economy and industrial output, here's Noah to explain.
All right, let's get to it. So we all know high-end things like luxury Swiss watches and Swiss knives are made in Switzerland, which
Yes.
are, by the way, a multi-billion-dollar industry. By the way, if you're looking for a backpack, Swiss gear is amazing. I've had one of those backpacks for probably over a decade. Great stuff.
Good backpacks, man.
But the one industry that everyone takes focus on, even though it only makes up about 15% of their economy, is the Swiss banking system. Home to two world-renowned companies, UBS and Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse being founded by Alfred Escher. Look him up. The appeal is that Swiss banks offer an insane amount of privacy and confidentiality. To explain more about the bank situation, here's Swiss geography Simon.
Good day, miteinander. Hello, I am Simon and I'm actually from Switzerland.
What part of Switzerland?
Bodensee.
Whoa!
See, back in 1713, Switzerland's Great Council decided they would outlaw the financial disclosure to Europe's financial elites. In addition, all forms of bribery were pretty much criminalized. Since 1934, it was made criminal to disclose the identity of any account holders, as long as they didn't have any extreme felony charges.
Wow.
Even though the interest rates are really low, sometimes the rate is even negative, which means you have to pay to hold Swiss francs or to open an account. Nonetheless, our rate of investments are pretty high. high, like at 2.5%, due to the regular stability of the Swiss economy. Granted, there was some controversy, as there have been many lawsuits brought against our beautiful banks, such as the 1996 Holocaust victim class action lawsuit, which claimed that Swiss banks knowingly concealed assets illegally acquired by the Nazis. Then again, in 2009, the US strong-armed Switzerland into, disclosing wealthy assets from 50,000 Americans. It worked, but now, Swiss banks don't accept any Americans or even
I don't blame you. Leave it to us to do some shit like that.
Swiss people who move to America or who make a vacation in Florida. If you'd like to open an account, just contact me on Instagram and it will be totally confidential. Thank you very much. Adieu miteinander. Au revoir.
Thanks, Simon.
That's brilliant.
With great banks comes great liabilities. But of course, Switzerland is more than just banks. They have thriving pharmaceutical, tech, and tourism sectors. The palate is getting dry.
Anywhere that you go where America's not getting a piece of your pie, they're going to figure out a way to get the whole pie.
Bottle 2.
That'd be pretty cool if it was. They take their agriculture industry very seriously. The government actually subsidizes 70% of farms. I mean, how can you say no to the wonderful dairy provided by Swiss cows? To explain more about the animal situation, here is Gary Harlow.
Hey guys, Caleb's actually busy. He couldn't do this segment, but we got Ian. So you're gonna be Gary Harlow today. You're probably gonna mess it up, but I don't care.
Ian once found a seashell. Really?
For sure. Switzerland, being the alpine nation it is, provides quite a habitat for all kinds of strange species. The country has 18 official nature parks. Now, in these mountains, you have quite a many of mountain-adapted ungulates. Much noted are the ibex and the chamois. Thanks to their two-toed hooves, these little guys latch on to the narrowest of walls. And this makes you think, are they brave or are they just stupid? I ask myself that a lot. Unfortunately, most of the predators, like the gray wolf and the Eurasian lynx, are incredibly rare. Brown bears were actually hunted to extinction in 1904. Now, one species of predator that does thrive in Switzerland is the European asp. It's a viper, and it's well adapted to the high altitudes. Now, the bite's extremely painful. Now, unlike most countries, Switzerland doesn't have a national animal. But if you ask around, you might find out that the unofficial Swiss animal is the iconic Swiss cow. Even though they're not naturally from these here mountains. All right, well, that's it for me, fellas.
This is terrible.
I'm sorry, Hannah, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Ian.
Throw him out.
Anyway, we've discussed much of the industry, economy, and physical makeup. That means there's only one more part left. Food! Now, I love doing this part, but I will gracefully step down and let an actual Swiss geography take over.
Hello, we are Mara and Terence, and today we are going to talk about Swiss food.
We have to talk about cheese, of course. Thousands of varieties of them.
Probably also know the popular dishes, fondue and raclette. Rösti, which is like a hash brown, Alpenmakrone.
Who out there likes the raclette? Who likes it? I've seen it before in a restaurant, and I've seen the whole melted, scrape it off onto your food way that they did it. And I was like, that is a god-awful amount of cheese. Like, I don't know that I would be able to eat that much cheese. You guys obviously do eat it. I've definitely heard of fondue. You know, America's had a real way of spinning that around and just making it one of the most expensive things that you can go do on a night out.
Fondue. Raclette, Rösti, which is like a hash brown, Alpenmakrone.
Oh, I want to eat that.
Zimtschnetzlets, Bernardplatte, Pave Vaudois, Malakoff de Windsel.
Birchermüsli.
And desserts, Basler Leckerli, Bündner Nusstorte, Zuckerkirschtorte.
Termicel.
And of course, chocolate.
Yeah, although we don't have cocoa trees here.
We also invented absinthe,
which is a super strong alcohol, can give you hallucinations.
Yeah, it
then
can.
There is also another soft drink called Rivella.
And finally, in every Swiss kitchen, mochi and automat. And like a mini automat, Dösli, in a Swiss person's hiking backpack.
That's it.
And I gotta try some of those desserts.
This one is super good. It looks really good.
Back to you.
Thank you, Noah.
Also, fun fact, because Switzerland is so expensive, we actually like to go shopping in other countries, just because it's cheaper. There are some laws what you can bring back, like 1 kilogram of meat, 5 liters of wine, or 1 liter of strong liquor, and 1 kilogram of butter.
They actually check at the border when you drive through?
Yes.
But I mean, you guys do have good stuff. I mean, you're well known for your cheese and chocolate.
We put it on everything.
See?
You bake
That's
something
that
in the oven,
raclette.
put some cheese on it. You're having sushi, why not put some raclette? Yeah, food always brings people together.
Except for that one one time in Lindau with that waiter, I swear.
Seriously, dude, 4 years later and you're still
waiter, I would be
still pissed off. Anyway, let's move on.
You should name and shame him. Right here is where we're gonna pause today's episode. We will finish it off tomorrow, also with the Friday fan flag Friday. Smash the like button if you liked it, the dislike button if you disliked it. If you're new here and you're from Switzerland, I appreciate you 100%. Let me know some more about your country, because this is how we're learning these days. There's no more school for this guy. Smash the like button here if you liked it, the dislike button, but I won't believe you. I love you guys to the moon and back. Peace.